got to cover your arse. Your business isn't a charity. You've got to go, right, I'll come and fix it, but because I never supplied that part, it's going to cost you. We'll put the new ones on and we'll just, yeah, I thought as much. It's just absolutely full of silicone. I'll probably end up getting home at like 8 o'clock tonight. But this is, again, this is the bit that people don't see. Things are moving on quite a lot here at the barn, so I will take you in, give you a brief little rundown of what's gone on. Kitchen fitters are smashing the kitchen out. Looking well, looking good. Electricity's got the smallest notepad in the world. You want a bigger pen for that notepad, Charlie? You're not going to believe this. We've just gone to put the clamp on the back of the tap underneath with that, and you know, the metal one that goes with it. So it's filed down the back. I've gone, all right, fair enough. Pop the plinth off to get it from underneath there. And if you can notice, there's a tiny gap at the back of that board, and it's dropped down through the back of there. Bollocks. Right, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well, and I just want to say a quick welcome aboard to all the new subscribers. We've had an influx recently. Maybe it's off the back of me saying that you've got to be a subscriber to win this Cat 18 volt cordless drill that's coming up soon, and multi-tool, or it's just people seeing the channel. Either way, welcome aboard. Appreciate you all subscribing, and appreciate everyone that comments and whatnot on my videos. It really is helping out, and there's some big things coming, as I've teased, this year. Right, today we are heading over to one of the houses. During a video a few weeks ago, I did a quoting video and showed you like me going around and quoting a few jobs. I'll put the link up in the corner here. But basically it's one of those jobs. It is the one, funnily enough, with the problem with the blending valve on the bath, but we're not going to sort that out yet. That has been approved. The quote I put in for that has been approved, so we can begin investigations properly on that. When I went and looked at it, people were going, try this, try this, try this. It was basically just me going there to see what it was and work out a price for trying to sort it. So I've put a provisional sum in that's been okayed, so that's coming. Whereas today, back to the same property to replace the shower that there was an issues with. We're just going to take the old one out and put the new one in. At the minute, I've got to battle through this early morning traffic to get where I'm going to go. I'm just going to take a shortcut through here. So that's where we're going to start off today. We're going to sort this shower out. Right, so I'm back at the house where we had a problem with the blending valve on the bath, but we're not here to fix that yet. We're here to put right, or at least to fix this shower. When I came last time and had a look, it was leaking out of here, it was broken here, it was loose and dangling off the wall, and because these houses are only sort of 2 years old, the customer has been complaining to the builder about various different things, and they've agreed to just swap out the shower. So I picked up an Aqualesia, very similar style shower to what's in there, so we've got that to replace. So we'll get the water off and get this one off. It should be a fairly straightforward swap, to be fair. It's just a case of turning the water off, as I say, disconnecting here, disconnect out of here. Hopefully the hole where this is will line up with the new one, but we'll wait and see. So we'll get the water off and get it drained down. Right, so that's the water shut off. What I will do now is just disconnect this riser off. We'll undo it here, disconnect it off here, take this grub screw out, take this riser off, and then get the body off, change the caps and get the new body on. At least then we can get that on, shut off, and get the water back on for the house. So that's the shower off, and we've just got these left on now, so we'll just take these off. We'll put the new ones on, and we'll just, yeah, I thought as much. It's just absolutely full of silicone. I've just dumped up behind there with silicone. I've got the new shrouds on now, got the light in, just to throw a little bit of light. Another one, they didn't even put in a light to go into the shower. What we'll do now, we'll get the actual bar shower arm in place, tightened up, and we can get the water back on then. So this is the new bar shower we're going to replace. It's sort of square. I spec'd a square one just because the old one was fairly square, and everything in here is pretty square anyway. So what we'll do is we'll pop the 2 filter washers into position and then get this on there. So the good thing with these is the centres are always going to be the same, 150 centres. So swapping them over is always relatively easy. So that time we'll give this a tighten up and get that all set. So we just tighten these up now. They are pretty much tight. Make sure it's off and go and get the water back on. Then we can put the riser on and the bottom hand wand. Hopefully that's going to measure up. Well, taking the cover off that has answered my question, because we've got 2 holes in this one, and I know the one that's going on has just a centre hole, so we'll have to see if we can line it up and lose them 2 screw holes somehow. So as you can see, we're quite a way out of that, because this has got to go obviously down a little bit, but those holes are there. So what I'm going to do is to pull them or push them plugs in. I've got some grey silicone, I think, so I can just put that over and then re-drill this one here. So what we'll do is offer that one into place, get the boat level on it and get it marked up. That's the head into position now. We've got it bolted back to the wall, so I'll get some silicone in there and bolt it down onto that, and then we've just got the one to connect on now, which goes. They're quite good, these Aqualesia showers, to be fair. I've fitted a few of these, and then that just sits nicely in there. Right, we'll get this out and give it a test. Right, let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. That's working a treat. Right, let's give the top one a go. There we go, spot on, perfect. There we go, now ours, a working shower that's not hanging off the wall, and it can put the hand wand on, because the last one, that was knackered, so he couldn't even do that. But nice little straightforward job.
So this is the part that customers don't see. It is currently 5 to 6 on Thursday evening, and I've just turned up at this job. A customer's messaged me probably a month or so ago. From what I can gather, they've bought a new house, or they're renovating the house they've got, or they're gutting the house, one of those, because they asked me if I'd quote them for a boiler swap, new pipe work in the central heating, new radiators all round. So I've just pulled up outside, I've got my quote book, tape measure. So we've got to do this one, and then I've got another quote to go, or another job to go and look at 7 o'clock, a bathroom. From what I can gather, the customers asked me about over the phone, cost wise, and what I'll do, I'll link up into the corner to my previous video about pricing bathrooms, so that'll give you an idea. But she asked me on the phone rough sort of costings. I said until I get there I can't really tell, but I say we've got to go there about 7ish. So we'll pop in now, get this one looked at, see what's going on here, and then I'll probably end up getting home at like 8 o'clock tonight. But this is, again, this is the bit that people don't see, but it's the most important bit for us as sole traders. You've got to go and get the work in. So let's go and have a look. I am just on my way to the tap job that I did in the last video, because it's leaking. And I think it's going to be quite, this is going to be quite an interesting video, because it's leaking from the tap itself, and the customer supplied the tap. So as we all know, as plumbers out there know, that as the customer supplied the tap, who's paying for me to go and have a look at this tap and sort it out? Now, the lowdown on it is, it's been fine for 2 or 3 days, not a problem, and then all of a sudden last night it started leaking from the body, underneath, from the body of the tap. So I'm just on my way to have a look at it, and I think it'll be an interesting video, because it's got that hole, the customer supplied it, so now you've got to pay me to take the tap out. You haven't got replacement tap, etc, etc. So I'm literally just in the traffic now, on my way there. We'll go and have a look, and I'll update you when we're there what we're going to do and how we're going to go about it. But as usual, like I always say, this is Real World Plumbing. So, as I said, we're back here. You lot probably think it's just an excuse for me to use that Nearad Tapex kit again. Well, we will be, but it is a proper clever bit of kit. A lot of people have commented saying, looks like it makes life a lot easier, and it does, to be fair. So the first outing with it proved very well. So, it's coming from, I can't really see it, but it's coming from internally. So, possibly the hoses, there might be an issue with the hoses. I know for a fact they're tightened right in. We shall whip it out now and just have a look. Luckily, it's going to come out fairly easy because of this. The water's off. Let's get this made up and get that tap whipped out and take a look. So that's the tap taken out. Now, if you look, just here, there's the issue. You can see that's the olive off one of the flexes, and that's the washer off the other flexi. It was just like it was split apart on the end of that fitting. What I've got another pair of these 10mm flexes in the van. So what I'll do, I'll just bin these ones off, and them. That just seems to be. I've never had it where one of them has just come apart, but it is what it is. So we'll chuck that one away and we'll chuck the other one away, so they're out of the way. We're not going to get them mixed up. So I've got another pair of 10mm flexes. I always try to keep a fair amount of them in the van, just in case them. And what we're going to have to do, because they were longer flexes coming off there, we may have to just add flexi extension on there. It won't be a problem at all. It just saves altering all this pipe work around that. We haven't got much room inside this cupboard because this unit goes back and forth, and it's got a bit that sits around there with a shelf on, so that's been obviously put like that for a reason. So we'll get this tap made up with some new flexes. Hopefully that's the issue. I can't see anything internally, and obviously when we took that out, that was split open. So we'll pop the new flexes in and we'll go from there. That's the tap made up with another new set of flexes in it. All seems good under there, there's no issues. So we'll get that pushed into place, pulled through underneath there, and then we can reuse Tapex kit. That is until you drop the bracing plate down the back. Bollocks. Let's pop this plinth off and it'll be behind here. I knew that was going to happen. You're not going to believe this. We've just gone to put the clamp on the back of the tap underneath with that, and you know, the metal one that goes with it, and to put that on. So it's filed down the back. I've gone, all right, fair enough, pop the plinth off to get it from underneath there. And if you can notice, there's a tiny fucking gap at the back of that board, and it's dropped down through the back of there. Bollocks. Right. Fuck's sake, we're gonna have to go and pop to Screwfix and pick one of them up. Right, so half an hour later, we finally got a replacement bracket. So I went to Screwfix, they didn't have one. So we've got this little independent plumbing merchants down the bottom of Leamington that keep just random shit that you never ever need, but now and again you'll need one. That was what that was. So, been and picked that up. Let's get that bolted in up there now, and hopefully I don't drop it again. Right, so let's try again. Taps in, working, fine. So what I've done, as I've said, I've put an extra flexi on there. Some people are going to moan about it, some people will get on their eye horse about it, but because, as I've said, that shelf unit has got to go in there, we can't alter that, and to be honest, it makes zero difference. Anyway, you can get the longer hoses. These, from the taps, it's a 300mm hose. If anywhere would have had a 500mm hose, I'd have put that in and it would have fitted, but they didn't, so I've put that in, put the other one in, it's working fine. It was just a pain in the arse having to go and get another one of them little clamps, but at least it's done now. So I'll put this back together, put the plinth back on, get the drawers back in, and that's that tap sorted. But as I said, it's going to be
To be fair, what I'll probably do, because, you know, I'll do loads of work for Adrian, who's the customer here anyway, you know, just get him to pay for the extra hoses I've used. And to be fair to him, he'll probably go, you know, there's a little drink on top. So, but it's just a prime example of sometimes if this was a customer that you don't, you know, some randomer that's rung you up and they've bought a tap and there's an issue with it, you've got to cover your arse. You've got to, you know, your business isn't a charity. You've got to go, right, I'll come and fix it. But because I never supplied that part, you know, it's going to cost you. So we'll get this all sorted, get the cupboards back in and finish off here. But I just thought you might like a little overview of how you would deal with something like that, just off the back of the questions and answers video that I've done before. You know, if people ask this sort of question, what if we supply something and there's an issue with it? What if someone else supplies something and there's an issue with it? So that sort of touched on that. So hope you found it informative. As you can see, we're back at the barn again, and things are moving on quite a lot here at the barn. So I will take you in, give you a brief little rundown of what's gone on. So since we was last here, kitchen fitters are smashing the kitchen out. It's getting there, looking well, looking good. What else we got? Tiling's gone down, all grouted up. Literally got the smallest notepad in the world. You want a bigger pen for that notepad, Charlie? We've got Terry's in here. Terry's doing a little bit in here. Let's see how he's doing. How are we doing, Terry?
Doing good, I'm doing good.
Getting there.
A shower on the way for you.
Oh, looks alright, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Alright then.
Different, gone from grey tiles down to black. And you'll be happy to know.
What colour grout's going in this?
It's going to be black.
Oh, is it?
I hope.
Yeah.
You'll be pleased to know that's ceramic, not porcelain.
That's good, that's what we like to hear.
Drilling, nice easy drilling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good, mate. It's looking good.
Good, good.
So, turn your radio back up for you, mate.
Thank you, thank you.
So Terry's getting the tiling on, smashing his way through that. I think downstairs is just about done. Lads are outside doing a bit. Lee's out there. So yeah, what we're here today to do is connect up, or begin connecting up, these underfloor heating manifolds, because the company they've got in to do the sort of boiler area, well, it will be a room in the end because they're going to stud off down there. I think they're coming in next week to begin doing that. So what I'm going to do is start getting these primaries into here. We're going to put these, obviously, shut off valves there, and then come off the bottom and connect into them 28 mils. So I've just dropped the pressure out of that. We'll pop them off now. I only put them on there just to fill these manifolds up and get everywhere tested, but we'll switch them onto there, and then I may even put a couple of lever valves going into that pipe work. But the electrician's been in here as well. You meant to be working in here, Charlie. Have I kicked you out?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I'm not worried. But yeah, he looks like he's beginning to connect up the actuators and whatnot. But at least he's put his box there for my light to go onto, which is perfect. So we'll finish getting these drained out, we'll switch them over, and then bring the 28 mils across into the manifold. Okay, so I'm just mocking this up now. This is the flow, obviously, coming in. It's coming in 28 mil. What we've got to do is reduce down to 22 mil to go into this motorised valve, and then up into the underfloor heating manifold. Now, what I ideally wanted to do, we've got shut-off valves here and here, but what I wanted to ideally do is get 2 lever valves on the flow and the returns coming in and out. Now, I can get one on the return, because that's going to sort of come off there, along into position there. So that'll be set there, and then into the return pipe right there. But because we've got this motorised valve on there, there's just no way of getting a lever valve or even a butterfly valve in anywhere there. So you can shut it off with that, you know, manually shut it off if need be, because really just the 2 lever valves were to isolate this, you know, if ever you had to change the pump or whatnot. But to be fair, you'll be able to close off the flow with that if need be, return with that, change that. So I'm not too concerned about that. But just the way my day's going at the minute, we haven't got any 28 to 22 reducers. So I've mocked that up in position at the minute. I'm going to mock up the return as well, just so that when we've got them next week, we can just come back, or this later on this week, we can come back, just drop into this one, solder it all up. But I can get this one done,
mock up the others. We've got another 3 manifolds to do anyway. But it just gives you an idea of roughly how we're going to connect that in. Right, a little tip for you. I think I've shown this before. When you're soldering vertical pipes like that, or fitting onto the end of a vertical pipe, as soon as you add any heat onto there, they just drop off. So, pop it on like that. I've already done it, but just get your grips, pinch it a tiny little bit, not too much, and then as you twist it into position, like that, ain't going to come off. Little tip for you. Or some people put like their tape measure underneath and wedge it up, but I find that way it's the best way to go about it. So that's one of the downstairs manifolds done. We've come up now to the first floor to start getting this one in. Now, we haven't got enough room to fit these 2 shut-off valves in there because it's going to overhang here, and we can't do it there. It's just no way of doing it. So I'm going to put them there. They're going to be the only isolation valves to this manifold. I don't see it being an issue, in all honesty. I've got to get motorised valve in there for the flow. We'll connect the return up, and then that's another manifold done. There's one more upstairs, one more downstairs, but we're getting through them now. So with those valves there, when the plant room's done, we know we can fill the whole system up to this point and then open each manifold as and when we need to get them tested out. So yeah, we're getting through these now. It's taking shape. So just to top off an absolutely crap Friday that I've had, the fucking traffic is miles up there. Waze is showing, why is that not showing? Waze is showing the traffic just gridlocked everywhere. Anyway, I hope you all had a better Friday than what I've had. It's been a little bit crap today, to be honest. Anyway, we go again next week. So, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Drop me a comment below about anything, any questions you want to ask me. I might start doing some little questions at the end of each video. Maybe 1 question a week, something like that. Let me know what you think. Right, catch you later.